Yo, 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 what's going on at the fight world? It's your boy Money back with another one, fam. And today we're going to have a special guest. We're going to have the great Richard Schaefer coming through, showing me love. And, we're going to pick his brain on a few things, few fights coming up, few entertaining fights. Richard's a very busy man, so I do appreciate him taking his time out to, join me, to bless you guys with something special. Jose, what's going on, bro? Y'all smash that like button, y'all come in, fam. Smash that like button for your boys, y'all come in. Smash the like, fam. Through the phone as usual. Juan, what's going down? What's going down? Yeah, we gotta talk to Rich through the phone, bro. Yes, sir, Juan. You know it, fam. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta get it how we can get it. Have to get it how we can get it. Yes, sir. Spence versus Ugas. Yeah, few interesting topics we gonna touch on with Richard, bro. Big fight coming up April 16th. Errol Spence and Dennis Ugas. Big fight coming up April 30th. Gerardo Valencia, what's going down, champ? No. Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez. And another thing is, man, we're gonna talk about it because we gotta praise Richard Schaefer for a few things, man. A few things. You see, this is what I don't like, fam. They don't be sending out my notifications. Y'all smash that like button, fam, to get the people in the building, man. They don't send out the notifications, fam. They don't. They refuse to send out my notifications. 1 second, let your boy take his medicine. It's a blessing in the streets. Ain't no better than. Ain't nobody in this thing that no better than gangsters. Gangsters. Y'all smash the like. Y'all smash the like, man. We about to have a great Richard Schaefer come through and bless your boy once again, man. Gangsters make the world go around. I think Canelo is second. For CASA testing. You gotta elaborate a little bit more on bottle testing. Um, yep. Canelo the most tested fighter in boxing. Canelo is the most tested fighter in boxing, man. That's a fact. That's a fact, Jack. No, that's a fact. But he keep going out there, he keep performing, he keep knocking their ass out, and he keep prospering, making history. Prospering and making history. Y'all smash that like button for your boy Money B. Y'all, let's smash the like. Let's smash the like, y'all. Oh, it's coming, Vic. We heard. We heard, fam. Like once we get this close to the fight, we in the building. Come on, y'all, smash the like, y'all. Come on now, y'all, smash the like, bro. Like we got 20 some 17. We only got 11 likes. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Let's get the people in the building, man. G Leaf, what's going down, fam? Let's get the people in the building, fam. Let's smash the like, people. It's hard. It's hard to get people just to smash the like button, bro. It's hard, bro. 6 minutes away from calling my guy Richard. Let's at least get 50 in the building. 5-0, 50 in the building. 50. 50. Where my green team at? Where my green team at? My brother Tony Burlett, what's going down, champ? How you feeling, bro? You see, y'all? You bring the interviews, you don't act right. Ruben Gutierrez, I said what's up to you. What's going down, bro? Polo Sports, what's going down, man? Yeah, we got a few topics to touch on with Richard. Yeah, I'm trying to get them hit that like, fam. Hit that like, hit that like. Um, Polo Sports, yeah, I seen that, fam. One of my favorite actors, especially in with the little kid, bro, where he skipped his ass up to the fifth grade or the sixth grade. Problem child. Played in so many movies though, man. Yeah, Problem Child was my shit, bro. Aladdin, House Party. Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. A lot of shit. But let's get it going, y'all. Let's go and get Richard in the building, man. Get this show on the road.
Hello?
My brother Richard, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain.
Excellent, excellent.
How your day go today?
Good, good. Just like, getting ready, leaving on Thursday to Dallas.
Okay. Headed to the fight?
Heading to the fight. I have 3 of my guys fighting on the card.
Oh.
The cruiserweight Apache, Nigerian, and then young kid from Houston, Darius Fulgham at 175.
Okay.
And then actually, Showtime is doing an interesting setup. They're going to have first a Showtime boxing card live on Showtime. You don't have to pay; it's for free on Showtime. And then after that, they have the pay-per-view. So the main event on the Showtime portion is my fighter as well, Eimantas Stanionis, the Lithuanian Olympian from the Rio Olympics. He's fighting for the WBA regular welterweight championship against Butayev, which I think might be the best fight of the night. So I'm going to be there.
I'm gonna be in the building too, Rich. So I'm definitely got to see you, man.
Oh yeah, please come over and introduce yourself. Let's get together.
Yes, sir, man. But Speaking of Emmanuel Stanionis, Rich, and I was enlightening the people on this, right? If it wasn't for you and Emmanuel Stanionis, we won't be having Earl Spence and your Dennis Ugas right now. Could you elaborate on that a little bit? Because Stanionis was up next, but y'all decided to go ahead
Yes.
and let the unification bout take place.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a fight fan as well, and I always try to empower the young fighters. For Amonte Stanionis, it was always a dream to fight for a world title, and he was undefeated in 13 fights at the WPA. I talked to the WPA and was able to get him installed as the mandatory to Ugas, and he was, of course, very happy. But then when the opportunity came along that Ugas and Spence were going to fight and unify 3 of the 4 belts, Amonte's it was in the end, it was up to Amonte's because it was his position to give up. It wasn't mine. He accepted a step-aside deal as long as he could fight for the regular title, which he can against Butayev, and if he wins the fight, that he is next in line for the winner of Spence and Ugas. And those two stipulations were approved and mandated by the WPA. So there's going to be it's going to be a high stake night for Amonte Stanionis on Saturday night. Yes.
And he's a hell of a fighter. I'm a big fan of his. But this guy that he's taking on is a hell of a fighter as well. He earned his name. And like you say, Rich, this can arguably be the fight of the night with 2 come forward fighters that love to bang it out. Both of them got some pops and they tough as hell.
I totally agree with you. I really think stylistically, these are 2 guys who really don't take a step back. They only fight going forward. And it's going to be very explosive. They know each other well from the amateurs as well. They fought in the amateurs, and I think they have one fight Butayev won, and then I think the second time it somehow didn't happen. So they know each other well from the amateurs, and both know that this is a dangerous fight. And I think you hit the nail on the head. That this is a 50-50 fight. It's really the definition of a 50-50 fight. That's what we like to see it. That's why I think it could steal the night.
Yeah, I like it. I think like everybody that's that's really know boxing, and people that I know that do content. Yeah, this is a fight that everybody is big on. Everybody is big on this fight, especially seeing a guy. I can't. Is it Butiev who put his hands on Jamal James like that? But
yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah, you sure know your stuff. No, that's exactly right. Yes, no, it's a fascinating matchup, and that just shows you the welterweight division. It's really loaded. There's so much. It's not just Crawford and Spence and Ugas, and then you of course still have you have Keith Thurman, you have Danny Garcia still there.
Yep.
So you have these guys who are have made their name in the welterweight division, but then you have the young guys like Stanionis, like Booth Ennis, and others knocking on the door. And it's just from a talent point of view, an extremely deep division.
Yes, it is, Rich. And you know how they say with the welterweight division, right? The new start pushing the old out. Like we had Floyd era with the Pacquiao's, the Mosleys. We had those guys. But then after them, we had the the Devin Alexanders, the Americans, the Tim Bradleys. They came. Then we had the Earl Spences, the Sean Porters, the Denny Garcias, and now we got the Boost Ennises, the Virgil Ortiz, the Stanionis, the Rashid Elliott's, the Budavez.
Yep.
Like every generation of welterweight, they hold their own. But it looked like every new generation, it get tougher and tougher and better competition because this new set of welterweights coming up, man. Like you can mix and match these dudes, and there's gonna be great fights all over. And that's what I like
totally
about it.
agree with you. I totally agree with you. And look, I still think that Keith Thurman, could hold its own against any of those guys. And then, of course, let's just dream a little bit here. If Spence wins, which he's the favorite,
right.
But I think Ugas is a very live dog. He's a very skillful fighter, and with Spence, you still have these question marks about his injuries and everything. And so, it'll be an interesting night. But let's just say that Spence wins. Then of course, I think the biggest fight, certainly here in the United States, irrespective of weight class, that could be made would be Spence against Crawford. That would be one of, historically speaking as well, I think one of the most mouth-watering matchups in any weight class. And I think for us, the heavyweight fights with Joshua and with Fury and with Usyk, and all those are big fights. But for us here domestically, I think Spence and Crawford is bigger than that. And that as a fight fan is definitely a fight I like to see.
I agree 120%, Rich. And that was leading up to one of my questions as well, because I'm looking at, all the Errol Spence interviews, and by him saying, that he only have one more fight after this and he wanted to be Terrence Crawford for undisputed. Are you guys willing, once again, because, it's an opportunity, or are you guys willing, well, I know you're going to say it's up to Stanionis, but you think Stanionis will say, you know what, I will, just for the sake of boxing and knowing how long people have been waiting for this fight between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, you think he will do the boxing another favor? Because, it's hard to step aside when you're in position to fight for a world title. It's like, why should I care about the next man make his money and get his opportunity when I work my ass off to get my opportunity as well? But just for the sake of boxing, or you think he's willing, once again, right, to let that fight take place without, causing any havoc?
Well, I think that's an excellent question. And I as a fight fan, I would hope so. But as his promoter, I'm a little bit conflicted. What shall I say?
Right.
The way I'm going to approach this, assuming that Amontis wins and assuming that Spence wins, the way I'm going to approach it, I'm going to sit down with his manager, with Shelley Finkel, and with him, and I'm going to let them make a decision. Whatever for me, it's always important not what I want, but what the fighter wants. And I think that sets me apart from many other promoters. So for me, it's not about the money. It's not about this. For me, it's about what does the fighter want. And if the fighter says, hey, I really have been waiting for this fight, I don't want to step aside again, then you know what? I'm going to be on board of that. And if he's going to say, look, if you can get me this, and that, and you ensure that I get the winner, then I'm going to step aside, then I'm going to go to work and see that I can implement that. So it's, in the end of the day, totally and solely at the discretion of Amontis Stanionis.
Man, that's why I love you, Rich, because this, I tell people all the time, bro, you are for the fighters. You always have been for the fighters. Like, that's why the fighters love you so much, and that's why you get the praise that you get, because you always been for the fighters. It's never really been about the money. It's been about, of course, right, it's a business, so everybody want to get paid, but for us, your perspective is, okay, what can I do best to put my fighter in the best position to make them happy, bro? You never been like, okay, I'm the type of promoter to where, let me see if I can milk this person and get X amount of money for my coffin, and then get him whatever he get. You always put the fighters first.
Yeah, you have to. I think that's what it is. Fighters talk. That's why, they say nice things about me, because I am totally pro-fighter. Look, two of the guys I got involved in, I worked hard with the sanctioning organizations. I went down to the WBC convention in Mexico. I was the only from the big leading promoters, the only one who actually in person showed up. Other promoters sent representatives, matchmakers and stuff like that. But I went myself to the WBC convention, and I worked for two of the guys who are now promoted by me, is Regis Prograis, to get him into a final eliminator, and the other one is Oshaki Foster, to get him into an eliminator. Both of them fought last month in Dubai. Both of them won their eliminators. Both of them looked spectacular, and now I'm working on the sanctioning organizations to hopefully get them to fight for the world title next. That's what the fighters want. They want to fight for those titles. Or look at another fight. I'm actually, after I come back from Dallas, I'm flying back to Los Angeles on Sunday morning early, and spend the Easter Sunday with my family, and then Monday I'm going to go to England, to Liverpool. We have a show there on that Friday, a week from this Friday in Liverpool. So I'm going to be there because another fighter who has been working diligently to position himself to fight for a world title is Paul Butler. And Paul Butler is going to be fighting for the WBO 118-pound world title against Jean-Marie Casimiro, which is going to be a very difficult fight for Paul. But it's not just about winning. It's about giving my fighters the opportunity to fight for the world title, to open that door. And then when the door opens, when the first bell rings, my job is done. It's up to them to capture the opportunity, to capture the moment, and bring that world title home. And Paul Butler will be next a week from Friday.
Man, there you go, Richard. Don't get no better than that. Like you say, it's all about the opportunity. I can get you the opportunity, then you got to do the rest. You got to do the rest. Stay ready. What's going down, fam? Man, I like that about it, Rich. But man, and I be, I'll be pushing for Pro Bellum heavy. I seen that you got Regis Pro Grade. You got Oshaki Foster over there. You doing big things, man. You bringing these fighters in on the low, and people not paying attention, so they're sleeping on Pro Bellum. But Pro Bellum is coming. Pro Bellum is here to stay.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Sure is. Now we're having a lot of fun putting together great fights. And it's not really a company, as I say. It's more of a movement. Pro Bellum is more of a movement. Fighters want to join. I get emails and calls from fighters directly, from managers every day who want to be with Pro Bellum. And I think that is the best proof that we are doing something right when the talent wants to be with us.
That's true. And I think a lot of people, like I say, your face card and your name, I think a lot of people hear that name, Richard Schaefer, and just know you're a great man, to where, why not? If the opportunity fits itself and like you say, you getting this guy, Paul Butler, opportunity at a world title, you just fit to put Richard Schaefer, you just put Regis Prograde and Oshaki Foster in position. You see Stanley is in position and many, many more. And not only that, what about Nonito Donaire coming up with this rematch, Rich?
Yeah, great question. Wow, exactly. That is probably, if you would have to take like the 5 fights which excites fight fans the most, which I get asked about the most, then that rematch is certainly one of them. The first fight, if you remember back in 2019, it was the final of the World Boxing Super Series in Japan. And when we started that World Boxing Super Series, when I was on the board, and I asked my fellow board members of the World Boxing Super Series to please include Nonito Donaire, they were skeptical because in his last fight, he fought at 126 pounds against Carl Frampton. And it was a great fight. He lost against Frampton. I asked Nonito if he can make the weight to move back down to 118, and he said, yes, no problem. And so I told my fellow board members, look, he will make the weight. He will not embarrass you. He's an all-time great. He's a legend. Please put him into the tournament. And they agreed, and we put them in the tournament. There were 6 fighters. I think he was like number 5 seed or something like that. So people sort of like saw he was done, but he was far from done, and I knew that. I knew that 118 pounds, Nonito Donaire is the big puncher. His skill level, his liver shot, his hooks, his everything is unbelievable. And he showed that throughout the tournament, made it to the final. And in the final, he broke Inouye. Inouye's orbital bone.
Yep.
Yeah, he was out. He was out for 5-6 months or so. Couldn't fight Inouye. And Donaire lost a close fight, a very close fight. and but he looked spectacular, and it was the fight of the year. The American Boxing Writers Association voted it as the best fight of 2019, and ever since people ask me, when are they going to fight again? When are they going to fight again? And then as you know, I positioned after the loss to Inoue. I had a conversation with the WBC, and I was able to install Donaire, even though he was coming off a loss. I was able to install him as the mandatory to the WBC champion, the undefeated Frenchman, Ubali. And he, as you know, he knocked him out. Actually, Ubali just announced, I think, a week ago or so, his retirement. He hasn't fought since. And then he went on, Donaire, to defend his mandatory, another undefeated guy, Raymar Caballo, and he knocked him out. And now the time was right for the rematch, and that's after the Caballo fight, right there in the ring. Donaire told me, Richard, I really want Inoue again. Please do whatever you can to get me that fight. So I got in touch with Mr. Honda, the promoter in Japan, and we were able to work out all the details. So Nonito is going to go into the Lion's Den again in Japan on June the 7th, and we as fight fans are going to be in for a special treat, because I can assure you this is going to be another fight of the year candidate.
Oh, yes, it is, man. Like I say, even on the PBC side, I think Earl Spence and Sean Porter had got it on their side. But I was telling people, listen, that Nonito Donaire and Nui fight to me was a fight of the year, because you had some of everything in it. You had some of everything, and then like Nonito, man, it's just, man, he don't age. You know what I mean? Like
it's like fine wine. It's like fine wine, gets better with age.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like, and he's as well, the way he carries himself outside of the ring, he's really a great ambassador for boxing. He is a family man, has beautiful children, a beautiful wife. I like the fact that his wife is very involved with boxing. She is his manager, he's his trainer, and so they're a great team, and I like that. And I like as well that he was one of the very first to enroll in 24/7 365 WADA. So he is the clean boxing. This is very important to him, clean boxing. What is very important to him as well is that this is a gentleman's sport.
Facts.
And that this is a gentleman's sport. And when John Real Casimiro was like making these obscene scenes towards his wife, and we had agreed actually to a fight.
Exactly.
Unification bout. And he basically walked away from that because he did not tolerate his behavior. I mean, who does that? Who stands up for his wife like this and says, hey, for me, it's not about the money. For me, it's not about unifying with Casimiro. For me, it's about standing up to show that we in boxing, we as fighters are human beings. We are as fighters. We have a standard, and we do not tolerate that kind of behavior. And he walked away. I mean, that's the kind of guy Nonito is outside of the ring.
Yeah, man, because the line got to be drawn somewhere. Like the things that John Casimiro was doing was just overboard. He was going overboard. And then we're not going to forget that he didn't want to test that first needle. We're not going to forget that. Because at first...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's another important thing. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, suddenly it was like some delays in signing up.
So, like, Nonito always stood on principle, man. That's why we always liked him. He grew up like you say, he's a great ambassador for the sport, man, and he deserved everything that he get. And it was I think it was just a match made in heaven, man, and God don't make no mistakes to place him in your hands. You know what I mean?
It's actually, we wanted to work, thank you so much. We wanted to work together for a long time. And even when back in the day when I was a golden boy, he wanted to go with me and he signed a deal with us. Then it came out that he still had like options. I was under contract to Top Rank, and so he couldn't come to us. But we always liked each other, and if you remember, he fought in Vegas against Magdaleno,
Yeah,
and he lost that fight, but he didn't really lose that fight. I think most people who watched that fight would agree that he actually got robbed there.
exactly. Yeah,
Anyway, it was a close fight. So what did Top Rank do? They released him. And because generally, people thought, oh, he's older now, and he's probably past his time, and is not gonna get better. And he came to see me with Rachel, and said, hey, are you still interested? I said, of course I am, and we worked out the deal right there in a matter of 5 minutes or so. And the rest is history. And I sort of like these stories. It's a great satisfaction to take a young fighter like a Neymar Stanionis this weekend out of the Olympics and turn him pro from his first fight on, and help guiding him towards a world title and help building him into a superstar. That's a great satisfaction. But the other thing is equally satisfying, to take a fighter who I believe still has a lot left, and against all odds, give him these opportunities and make that last chapter of his career maybe financially and professionally the most rewarding of his entire career. And I did the same for Bernard Hopkins. I sort of like the older guys and help to reclaim their glory and give them the opportunities. And I think that's equally satisfying as if you take a young kid.
exactly. I feel like it's like you let them write the last chapter of their story. You know what I mean? Instead of somebody want to push them out the door, and then the last chapter of their story go out. Oh man, they went out like this. You give them an opportunity to write the last chapter of their story, and they can make it a glorious chapter, or it can be a farewell one. But at the end of the day, it's like you give them hope, right? To not just believing in them, but just showing them that, man, listen, you got the opportunity yourself to go out there and show the people that you're not finished. And I think that's what you do with some of these fighters. And I think that's why it goes beyond boxing with them, with you. Like there's something that they'll cherish, they're gonna love forever. Just as a man to man, like there's something that's gonna be there forever for them to cherish. Not just, oh, Richard Schaefer gave me an opportunity for boxing, but like a lot of these people got kids, and now for them to be able to show the kids something, to feed their kids and things of that nature, just it goes beyond boxing to me, Rich. It goes beyond boxing.
Yeah, no, and I think what it is as well is, so what I do is I go to the gym, I go and see the fighters, spar and train, work out, so that I can really assess, are they in it because they really want it? Are they still hungry? Are they still as determined as I am to become world champion again? Or is it just for the payday?
Right.
And if you're older and it's just for the payday, then it becomes dangerous.
Right.
And then I don't want to have anything to do with it, because I don't want to jeopardize somebody's health. It's not about the money, it's about protecting these fighters as well, sometimes from themselves.
Right, because if your heart not in it, this is a sport you don't want to play around with at all.
I agree.
Now, Rich, let me ask you about this, man. Canelo Alvarez got a big one coming up with Dimitri Bivol, right?
Big fight. Yes, good fight, dangerous fight. We're just gonna have to give it to him again. He's like, he's like, if he passes this guy, he's gonna probably unify the entire division again. I mean, it's just remarkable, somebody who makes that kind of money in a fight. And, somebody who has made now for the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights, 10 fights, 30 million or more a fight, that he's still as hungry as he is, and that he's still out there to prove himself. And I mean, it just shows you. I mean, you were said before that the heart has to be in it. Man, this guy's heart and frankly his balls and everything else is in it. So this is really just remarkable if you think about it. He truly is one of the all-time greats.
Thank you, Rich. Like, I gotta put it out there, man, because a lot of these kids, they just be talking, man. They don't know how to get credit where credit is due. assuming he get because I feel like Canelo gonna be undisputed at the light heavyweight division as well. I'm gonna take y'all question in a minute. I feel like he's gonna be like undisputed at the lightweight division as well. But I want to get your your thoughts on this, Rich. He signed a 2-fight deal with the Zone to take on Triple G. Assuming he get past Dimitri Bivol, because I don't look past no fighter. Bivol is a hell of a fighter, dangerous fighter.
I agree.
But assuming he get past Dimitri Bivol, he has Triple G up next, right? So a lot of people out here, they pissed off that he's fighting Triple G, which I say this. Triple G only has one loss on his resume. It came to Canelo. Yes, he's 40 years of age. They look at his last fight against Murata. Of course, you can tell the body shots was discouraging him, things of that nature. He kind of lost a step. But the thing is, Rich, he's still in the game. To me, he's still a household name. He's a unified champion at 40 years of age. Let that set in, right? So he's coming up for an opportunity at a man that beat him at 160. Right? They have their little beef that they got, whatever the situation is. But my thing is this: you can't knock Canelo Alvarez for fighting a man that's still in the game. His heart evidently is still in it because he's a unified champion. But these type of things happen in boxing all the time, right? Where sometimes you have a fighter that people claim stick around too long, and then you have a young fighter that come and sit him on his weight, retire him, as we can say, the history of the game. But I'm not mad at Canelo for fighting Triple G. Would I rather see Canelo against Charlo, Andrade, Benavidez? Yes, but Triple G is in a position to where he worked his ass off to be in, and he got the opportunity. So, what was your thought beyond that fight with him and Triple G, Rich?
So it's a very good question. So I have to tell you, when it was announced. When the Triple G fight with Canelo was announced, I was sort of like, I've seen it once, and I've seen it again, and do I really need to see it a third time? I think when it was announced, that was my thinking. Right. I don't think that Triple G is like Donaire, who is getting better with age.
Right.
I think that Canelo, though, got even better since the first fight and the second fight. So now we're going to see a better version of Canelo against, that's what I thought, a diminished version of Triple G. So I sort of thought, do I really need to see this? But I have to tell you, after I saw this fight and after I saw the way Golovkin looked, not just the way he won against Murata, but the way he moved, his footwork, his everything, this was vintage Golovkin. This was vintage Golovkin, and I changed my mind. I changed my mind because I was thinking as well, he took some time off. There was a time when he fought a lot, and then he sort of slowed down a bit in the last few years. We haven't seen that much of Golovkin. And I actually think that at that time, that inactivity for an older fighter, it did him well. I think it rejuvenated him. And I think it reminds me a little bit, again, about Bernard Hopkins.
Okay.
Hopkins fought until he was 50 years old.
Yep.
When you pull up BoxRec and you see what Hopkins did in the last 10 years of his career, it is just absolutely mind-blowing. And I think with Golovkin, we might see something similar. So I have to tell you, there is some bad blood between them. I think genuinely, I don't think they like each other. And Golovkin is fired up. He's coming off a big knockout win. He must feel great. So I really think this is a fight where this is a pay-per-view event fight fans will buy, and they're going to get excited about it. And I changed my mind for my initial thought, so I'm in line with what you think. I have absolutely no problem with this fight. To tell you the truth, I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it because that kind of rejuvenated Golovkin, I think, might give Canelo some problems. So I'm really looking forward to that fight. And that's the beauty. I mean, we still, when you look at the Charlo fight, is still there for next year.
There you go,
and
Rich.
Benavidez, I mean, the one fight I like to see the most is Canelo against Benavidez. And Benavidez is still young. And I think he's getting better and he's learning as well with every fight. So I think the Benavidez fight against Canelo in 2023 is actually going to be more compelling than it would have been in 2022. There's still so many great fights out there, and that's great for us fight fans.
That's what I say too, Rich. I say, listen, Canelo say he don't want to retire till he's 37. So let him go ahead and get this situation out the way with Triple G. At the same time, them boys can get more experience and they can do something to make their name a little more bigger as well. If they believe in themselves like that, or they not just, and I'm not saying none of these fights just sitting around for a payday, but of course, like I say, the nature of the game now, it is a business. You want your money and things of that nature, which I'm not mad at no fighter, that put their life on the line, who want to payday. Go get your money. That's your profession. You work your ass off for it. But when you got Canelo telling you what he's going to do, whether people like it or not, right? I'm busy this year. I got 2 fights signed. We know what he's going to do. I think they got to take it up on themselves to do what they have to do for their own career, and to do something that can set themselves apart just a little. It ain't got to be something big, and just because ain't nothing too big out there, but they have to do something to set themselves apart to make, because the fans gonna want to fight because of the buzz that goes on, things of that nature. But if I just look at everything overall, Rich, the fighters, what they doing now, what they doing if they don't get the fight, like how homegirl them after if they don't get the fight, like who they trying to fight, things of that nature. So like Canelo not going nowhere too soon. Those fights still going to be there, right? And like I say, I would rather see those fights over the Triple G fight myself. But what can we do if the contract is already signed? If the contract signed, then they obligated now. They obligated to go out there and do what they got to do. So I want to see the Benavidez fight too.
So, but look, I mean, again, I'm excited about the Bivol fight. I'm excited about the Triple G fight, and then I'm excited about Canelo. Period. I don't really care. I mean, this is like whoever Canelo fights, it's an event. And that's what I like. That's why he's the face of the sport. So he is the he really is. I mean, he is like, people watch. When he fights, people watch. That's why he commands the kind of money he commands. And so people were telling me, oh, this is ridiculous. He makes like, I don't know, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million a round or something like that. I mean, crazy amounts. Where he makes like $500,000 a second, or whatever the mathematics are.
Right.
And I said, well, you can't look at it. They said the same about Floyd.
Exactly.
Floyd makes so much money per second, but you can't look at it. And you said it before. This is not just like the time they perform in the ring. What about the lifestyle they work, they live? This is 24/7, 365.
Right.
This is about living a clean life. There's certain things you can't do or you shouldn't do. You shouldn't drink. You have to live a clean life. If you really want to be at that level, you have to devote yourself to your job. This is not a 9-to-5 job. This is 24/7 job. And then what about all the sparring? I mean, these guys, they spar 70, 80, 100 rounds per camp. And so you have a Canelo who fights twice a year. Other fighters who fight more often, they have 150, 200 rounds of sparring and speed bag and heavy bag and mitts and running. If you accumulated thousands of miles, you look at all the hard work which goes into that. So they deserve to get paid, and that's why I see this, and that's why I have a problem when fighters don't get treated properly and they don't get paid what they deserve.
Exactly. Rich, I got a guy in the chat. His name is Ahmed El Billy. He said,
yes.
He said, ask you, when would there be a fight in Switzerland? Ahmed El Bali. I can't pronounce the last name right.
El Bali, yes. Well, I don't know where that would. I haven't really looked into that, so I can't really tell you anything about that.
Okay. So do you know this guy, Rich? Because I think he's saying he knows you. I don't know.
Yes. No, I know of him, so I don't really, but I haven't really looked into him, matching him or see, so I just have to see, I have to see what's gonna be up there. So I can't really tell you more about that. But yes, I do know of him.
Okay, man. Look like a man. Look like you're trying to get signed, man. You got to do more, man. If you want Richard to know about you, you got to do more, man. You got to do more, son.
Yes.
But yeah, Rich, man. Is there anything that we should know that's new with Pro Bellum?
No, it's just like we're gonna keep on signing exciting fighters. I was in Newcastle a few weeks ago. Our show we had there and had an Olympic silver medalist from the UK. Definitely the most sought after talent in the UK market since Anthony Joshua, and his name is Pat McCormack, and his twin brother Luke. His twin brother Luke is going to be turning pro in Liverpool a week from Friday on the Probellum show. And Pat, the silver medalist, turned pro in Newcastle. He looked absolutely sensational. So I was very excited to have him as part of the Probellum team. He has superstar written all over him. So very excited about the McCormack brothers. In Liverpool, we signed the McGrail brothers. Peter McGrail fought in Dubai, looked spectacular. He's going to fight again now in Liverpool in his hometown. His brother is going to be on the card as well. So these young guys, I just love it. And then another guy, which I'm totally excited about, that he's part of our team, is the Olympic gold medalist, super heavyweight from the Tokyo Olympics. The big man, well, he's a giant. He's a monster, really. Cholalov. And man, it's just unbelievable. This guy, the power, the legs, the physique, the presence, unbelievable. He definitely will be heavyweight champion. So he is one to watch. So we are we're open for business, and whenever we see young talent, older talent, champions, former champions, whoever is a free agent, and they fit within the Probellum strategy, we're open for business.
Okay. I had a question, Rich. I want to ask you. I probably asked you off the record though, but I guess I'll ask you now, man. I don't think it'll be that long. Have Terrence Crawford by any chance reached out, or have you reached out to Probellum, anything like that?
Well, Terrence Crawford is such an amazing fighter, and the way he, when you see like what Floyd has done by being independent, or what Canelo has done by being independent, at that level, would I love to work with Terrence Crawford? Absolutely, but I can sort of like understand. I mean, if I can. Like with the Canelo is a good friend of mine. And with Canelo, if I could give Canelo a fight, a special opportunity or something, would he work with me? Absolutely. And I think the same is with Terrence Crawford. So if I have the right fight, the right setup, can generate the right money, then these free agents should be free so that they can pursue at that level that again, this is maybe not talking in the best interest of myself as a promoter, but if you are Terrence Crawford, where would you want to go? You would want to go like Canelo does, maybe one fight here, maybe one fight there, maybe two fights here, two fights there. You want to go where you can get the biggest paydays, the best fights. And he worked hard for that right. He worked hard for that opportunity. So why go and load up and be with somebody if you can get the big fight? And I know the big fight he wants is the Spence fight. So, he's a terrific. I've met him. I met Terrence, and I have the utmost respect for him. And contrary to what Aram said, I do believe he is very promotable. His talent speaks for himself. He has a huge following in Omaha, and I do think he is a superstar.
Okay, yeah, because Earl Spence said something in the interview today. It kind of caught me when I was just thinking, like, but that sums it up with that one though. Okay, Rich, I want to ask you about one more fight, then, Rich, and I'm gonna let you go, my brother. I know it's kind of late, and I always appreciate you for coming through for me, man, showing me love. It means a
You know,
lot.
when I love you because I like to talk with people who understand the sport, who understand not just the fights, but who understand what goes through a fighter's mind and who knows, the game. And
Yeah.
that's why when you texted me if I'm available, I mean, within a few minutes I texted you back and said yes.
Yes, sir.
For you always.
Man, that's why I appreciate you, Rich. But the last fight I'm gonna ask you about, my brother, is Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, man, because that's one of the big fights to me, April 30th, that's going down. I know you're a fight fan, and you love these kind of fights, and that's one that could have happened at 126, but now it's happening at 130. And I feel like out of like competitive fights, I feel like that's one of the fights that's competitive. A lot of people think Shakur just go walk through Oscar Valdez. I don't see it that way. I pick Shakur to win a fight, but Oscar Valdez, he's a hell of a fighter, man. I think he's going to have some pushback in this fight. But I just like the matchup, the unification bout, and both the two division world champion. And I just think it's happening at the right time as well. Like a lot of people want to see fights happen so soon before fighters kind of prove themselves or do something in a fight game. But I feel like both of them proved themselves by being two division world champions. Both of them had big time fights. They faced adversity, and now they meeting up as world champions in a fight. They could land one of them on the pound for pound list, depending on how the fight go. But I just like overall the matchup and the competitiveness of the fight. What's your thoughts on that fight, Rich?
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think it's a great matchup, and this is the kind of fight where, like an Oscar Valdez, is going to be ready. And these big time fighters, they get up for big time fights, and that is in this division the biggest matchup. And so how competitive Oscar Valdez is. He hasn't just achieved everything he has achieved just because he is good. He has achieved it because he is hungry and he is driven and he has a lot of heart. He is the heart of a Mexican warrior, So he is not going to roll over, and he's not going to be intimidated by Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur Stevenson is going to bring his A game. But talking about Shakur Stevenson's A game, man, this is an A game. It's like an A plus game. I mean, this guy is so freaking good. You look at his skills, his movement, his just ring generalship. I mean, how he controls the ring and how he controls his opponent. I mean, this is another one of those fights. I mean, people say, maybe he's going to blow Valdez out. He's not going to blow Valdez out. Would I be surprised if Valdez wins? No.
Right.
I wouldn't, because I think from a focus point of view, it's going to come down to who wants it more. Who wants it more? And I'm not so sure that Stevenson wants it more than Valdez, because I know Valdez really wants it. So it's a fascinating matchup. This is one of those fights. I'm going to make sure wherever I am, I'm going to be able to watch it, because I'm really looking forward to that one. And, it's such a loaded division there as well. I mean, there's just so much going on, and look at the fights there with Haney and Cambosa as well, and then you have Ryan Garcia, who recently fought, and you have Tank Davis. I mean, we are living, if you start looking at some of those matchups, we talked a little bit about the heavyweights and eventually the unification for all belts in the heavyweight division. We're really living, if you think about it, we're living in the golden age of boxing again.
Yep.
And we see a lot of good fights, and we see a lot of good young fighters coming up as well. So the pipeline is there of great young talent, because eventually today's champions will become gate holders, and that will give opportunities to the young fighters. So it's really exciting to live in boxing right now, but it's exciting as well to look forward 2, 3, 4 years from now. It's just, I mean, how can you not be a fight fan?
Exactly, Rich. Okay, Rich. Okay, I'm not going to let you go to that question, but my guy in the chat, he say, "Do you speak Spanish?" I think Rich did.
My wife is Mexican, so we've been married like 29 years. I have three boys. They speak Spanish. My wife is fluent in Spanish. She was born in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being married for almost 30 years to a Mexican. Yes, I do speak some Spanish. And
Yes.
my wife always says I speak excellent Spanish. I wouldn't. She's just yelling right now in the background. Very good. So no, I do speak Spanish, but I wouldn't say excellent. But I can certainly I could make it. If you drop me off in Mexico City, I can make it to the border.
And how's the family doing, man? You know, I love your family, man. You got a beautiful family, bro. And shouts out to your wife. And especially for 29, 30 years, man, that's a beautiful thing, Rich. That's a beautiful thing.
Yes, no. And, you know, she came with me to Dubai to the fights. She came with me to Newcastle to the fights. Oh, she always comes with me to the fights. And my boys, my three boys, they all grew up in boxing. They came with me to Vegas when they were little babies initially. First, when they were babies with babysitters. And then they started to come and watch the fights, and then they got to know the fighters. Were sitting with me, and we're there. We're part of it. And my oldest one now is a lawyer. He's dying to get back into boxing as well. My middle one is an agent at a big sports agency, and my youngest one, who just graduated a year and a half ago from USC, he now works with me at Probellum. And, you know, he can relate to boxing and to boxers, and they can relate to him. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, you're a proud father, man. I know they make you happy.
Oh, it's all about the family. I mean, that's what we do, you know. And that's what we live for. And that's what we try to do, to better ourselves for them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's what I see as well with the fighters, you know, when they have kids and so on. Why do they do that? Why do they go into the ring? Why do they get, you know, why are they in the hurt business? And because that's how they make a living, and that's how they provide for their family. And how can you not be supportive of them?
How can you not, man? That's why I love this boxing game, because boxing is like life, man. It's like life is like chess. You got to make the right pieces. You got to make the right moves at the right time and teach you discipline. I mean, boxing is a game that you can't cheat. I know a lot of people feel like this, that, and third, but it's the sport it's very telling. If your ass don't run that extra mile, if you don't support that extra round, if you think you just gonna get into that ring and you go look how you look, I don't give a damn how you looked the last fight. If you think you're gonna come back the next fight and you don't put that work in, it's gonna show. It's going to show. You know what I mean? So that's why I respect people like Canelo Alvarez. That's a 9-figure man, but he trained like he's trying to get his first, you know, title fight. Like discipline, you can't teach discipline in boxing. It got to be something that's instilled in you, and you know, you just gotta you gotta want it, man. You gotta want it. And Rich, one more. I keep saying one more because every time we talk, something just pop up in my head, and you know, when I could talk boxing with you forever, man. But with two more things, Rich. Ryan Garcia, right? Him leaving the Canelo Alvarez camp, like I kicked him in the ass because I don't like how he left the camp, right? Like to me, Rich, it's just my feelings. No, I'm not gonna lie about nothing. I feel like if you want to leave a camp, that's your right. Like it's your career, you can do what you want to do with your career. But when Ryan left Canelo camp, and he say things like he didn't have enough time to train with Eddie Reynoso, and Canelo should never do what he did, meaning, you know, he didn't go into public and publicly bash Ryan Garcia. All he did was what a big brother should do, was tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Meaning, you need to stay in the gym, you need to stay disciplined. I'm trying to keep, like, I've been in your shoes before, I've been in your situation. If you want to make it to this level, like you say you want to, then you have to stay in the gym. You have to stay, you know, perfecting your craft and learning. No bad how much you don't want to do it. This is something you have to do if you want to reach this level. And for Ryan to leave, you know, and to say that, because I caught him in his lies, I do this shit, Rich. So I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to what your father say. I'm listening to what this person say. Like his mother want me to talk to her, but I'm not gonna call her and sugarcoat nothing. So I haven't gave her a call yet, but it's like if you saying one thing and your father saying another, then Oscar De La Hoya sitting up here, he lying, right? Because I don't trust nothing Oscar say. He say, oh well, whenever Canelo tell Eddie to pack up and let's go on vacation, Eddie's going to pack up and leave, as if Eddie not going to pay attention to his other fighters. Like, okay, whatever Canelo say goes, and I don't think it goes like that, bro. I just think, you know, Ryan wanted to leave for whatever situation he was going through. You know, Canelo and Oscar situation, you know, they ain't on good terms. So You know, pretty soon, and I made videos about this. Like Ryan is going to have to choose sooner or later which route he's going to go, the Canelo route or the Oscar Garcia route. Because somewhere down the line, it's going to bump heads. You know what I mean? This is just how I see it, and I just feel like
Yeah, no,
Ryan.
that's
Yeah.
a good point. So look,
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you think about some of the other great trainers, like for example, Robert Garcia, he has a big gym. He has a lot of kids he's training.
Mm-hmm.
Or you look at Freddie Roach at Wildcard. I was there last week at the Wildcard gym. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of talent. It was buzzing, and he is very busy. So you look at Eddie's gym. Eddie has a handful of fighters, and I literally mean a handful.
Right.
If that, probably less than that.
Mm-hmm.
And so how can he not have enough time? Of course he has enough time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course you look at his track record as a trainer, there's a reason why he has been multiple times trainer of the year already. He's nominated again this year for trainer of the year. I mean, his results speak for themselves. So, but you know, hard work, dedication is what Floyd Mayweather said, and I think that's exactly what
Right.
what Eddie Rain also is saying as well. I mean, hard work and dedication. You need to really be there. And this is not like a camp, just a camp. This is like serious.
Exactly.
And you know, they had a different philosophy. And if you have a different philosophy, I think that's okay. I mean, everybody has the right to move on. And
exactly.
You know, nobody, especially I think, you know, with boxers, I actually understand. I mean, once you have learned from a certain coach what he teaches you, then you know it's time to move on. If you are training with a very offensive-minded coach,
Mm-hmm.
and that coach has given you all the tools, all the offensive tools you have, but now maybe what you are missing are some defensive tools. So
Right.
maybe it's time for you to go and do a gym for your next camp with somebody who can teach you some of the defensive tools, you know, and the defense, as we've seen with Floyd, a great defense can be a great offense as well.
Yes, sir.
And then maybe if you want to have one of the best defensive coaches is probably Virgil Hunter, you know. So then you go and learn from him. So it's just like when you go to school. I mean, you're not going to stick with your kindergarten coach or your high school coach or whatever, and a teacher for forever. You move up and you learn something else. And the same in boxing. When you have the luxury to learn from different trainers, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, we saw it with Amantis as well, Stan Jonas, who trained first at Freddie's gym, got great sparring there, and then after the Olympics, and then he moved to Houston, Texas, to train with one of my favorite trainers, Ronnie Shields. He really is a masterful trainer, and he went there for a couple of years. He was there in Houston and learned tremendously from Ronnie Shields. And then he moved on, but they moved on in a respectful way. I mean, when they see each other, they're friends, you know.
Right.
And Amantis will never forget how much he learned from Ronnie Shields. So that's a beautiful thing. And then Amantis went back to Los Angeles and is now with a trainer who used to be Pacquiao's one of Pacquiao's co-trainers, Marvin Somodio, who works out of, you know, from the Wildcard gym, a great young trainer. This is the kind of trainer who will be eventually trainer of the year as well. He's a young, determined kid. Teaches Amantis totally different things than Freddie did or Ronnie Shields did. So that doesn't mean you're disloyal to the trainer. You know, in French they have a saying, "C'est le ton qui fait la musique." It's the song that makes the music, and it's a little bit the same here. It's the way you communicate with people that ultimately makes you the person you are, and so you need to always be respectful, and when you move on, and that was maybe not that respectful the way this situation was handled.
That's how I feel too. Somebody, y'all get that sucker out of the chat room. Nobody disrespect Richard Schaefer in the chat. Y'all get him out of here, man. If y'all got a shooter, get him out of here. Get him out of here. But Yeah, he a
Thank
sucker,
you.
Rich. Oh, Rich, you know I got your back to the end, man. You my big brother, man. Like I say,
Thank you.
I still, like you don't understand, man. You know my feelings for you. Like you somebody that I really admire. I tell you that all the time. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, bro. Like when I look at the boxing game, I know great men. I know great. I can read. I know a great individual when I see one, man. And you just had greatness written all over you. I knew
Oh,
your
it's very nice of
backstory.
you.
I knew what you did with the fighters. I know what fighters you brought in. Like I studied Richard Schaefer. So for Richard Schaefer to hit me up, like, hey, can't nobody tell me nothing about Richard, man. And if they do,
Oh, no,
hey,
always.
yeah.
Always
So
happy to talk to you. And I'm looking forward to see you in Dallas then.
yes, sir, yes, sir. But Rich, I'm gonna let you go, my brother. Oh, I'm definitely gonna hit you up when I'm gonna touch down on Friday though, so it's gonna be a little later on
Okay,
Friday.
yeah, I'm going to be arriving a little earlier, but I'll see you Friday or Saturday. Two
Yes,
of my
sir.
boys are going to be with me as well.
Okay, so it'll be good to meet your sons as well, Rich.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
man, Rich, I
Well,
appreciate your time, my brother. It's always an honor. It's always a
anytime.
pleasure, man. I thank you so
All the
much.
best. All the best to you, and always fun to be on your show.
Yes, sir, Rich.
Congratulations for everything you do. You're doing a tremendous job. You really are a huge asset to the sport of boxing with your knowledge and your passion.
Thank you so much, Rich. That means a lot, my brother.
Thank you. See you soon. Okay. Thanks
Okay.
again. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, man, the great Richard Schaefer, everybody, man. When we say Richard Schaefer, got to put the great in front of his name because Richard Schaefer is a great. Richard Schaefer, if y'all don't know the history, bro, y'all got to go learn y'all history. There's no Canelo without Richard Schaefer. I'm gonna say that, right? And I'm not saying Canelo won't be what he is, this, that, and third. It's no Golden Boy without Richard Schaefer. You know what I mean? So, like, if you know the history of Richard Schaefer, then you know everything he done for this sport of boxing. It's no PBC without Richard Schaefer. Like, come on now. Come on now. And the Rainmaker 69, we ain't gonna let you come over here, and take the positivity away from what we was doing. So, you just a sucker, homie. You just a sucker. And we get you up out of here. Block them, get them gone forever. James Wagner say, take a fool to be on here talking about this, man. Get up out of the facts, James Wagner. What an informational interview. I appreciate that, James. Exactly, Abdul. Exactly. He built that thing, bro. He brought Canelo over, you dig? But what I'm gonna do, y'all, I appreciate that, Tupac. I appreciate that. I'm gonna shut this live stream down because I don't want to overrun this interview. And I'm gonna start up another one. We gonna talk some boxing. I'm gonna do another live stream. Ricky, we go try, man. We go try, but you gotta know somebody to know somebody to know somebody. You feel me? The beautiful Claudia in the building. Claudia, what's going down, Queen? But I'm about to shut this one down, y'all, because I want this interview to be this interview, and I'm gonna come back and I might do another hour or two. We just gonna talk about the upcoming fights and things of that next. So I appreciate y'all for rocking out with your boy. All love, fam. All love. Thank you again to the great Richard Schaefer, who came through and blessed Money Brown TV once again with another interview, man. I ain't gonna say the CEO of Pro Bellum, but he is the man over Pro Bellum that pull in fights after fight. So y'all come back with your boy, man. We finna come right back. We gonna do double duty, man. I appreciate y'all. All love, fam. Let's get it.